Hello and welcome to SSP Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha, and in this lecture I'm going to discuss about the NTA 1 and 2 2020 GAT English questions. And these questions are taken from the topic spotting of errors, right? So let's go into the directions, and before solving the questions, it is mandatory, as I've already told you, to read the directions. Let's read it. Each item in this section has a sentence with three underlined parts labeled as A, B, and C. Read each sentence to find out whether there is any error in any underlined part and indicate your response on the answer sheet against the corresponding letter, that is A or B or C. If you find no error, your response should be indicated as D. So basically, a sentence is given and the sentence is divided into three parts which have been marked as A, B, and C. First, you need to find out if there is any kind of grammatical error in any part of the sentence. So, for example, if part B of the sentence has any kind of grammatical error, your answer will be option B. If you find no error at all in the sentence, then your answer will be option D, which is no error. So let's see the question, the first question that we have, and here you are. This building comprises of 6 houses, 3 parking lots, and 1 basement. No error. So as you can see, the sentence has been divided into 3 parts, A, B, and C, and the no error part has been underlined and written D. So first of all, we have to read the entire sentence, the complete sentence, and then we need to trust our ears to see, to test if there is any kind of error we can find in the sentence. So this building comprises of 6 houses, 3 parking lots, and 1 basement. So in the first initial reading, you may not find any kind of grammatical error. But if you look deeper into each parts, you will find that there is an error. And the error is in part B of the sentence. So you will ask, what is the error? This building, singular, comprises, okay, that is singular verb, 6 houses, 3 parking lots, 1 basement, everything is up to the mark. Well, there is a problem with the usage of the word comprises of. Now, look into the word comprise. Comprise itself means to contain or to include or to consist of. So, when the word comprise or comprises or comprising is used, then there is no need to follow that word with any kind of preposition. So the usage of the preposition of is not necessary after the word comprises. So the correct sentence will be, this building comprises 6 houses, 3 parking lots, and 1 basement. There is the wrong usage of the preposition of after comprises. So therefore, your answer is option B, because part B of the sentence is having the error. I hope that you have got the idea about how to solve the questions. Let's move on to the next question. I look forward to meet you. So, I look forward to meet you. At the first initial reading, you may find no error in it, but there is an error. Whenever you are using look forward to, and this is a very formal way of saying to someone that you are waiting for something. So, I look forward to, the term look forward to is always followed by the verb plus ing. That means the verb will not be used on its own. It should be in a continuous form. In other words, ing should be added to the verb. Here the verb is meet, and this is incorrect. It should be, I look forward to meeting you. Therefore, the error is in part B of the sentence here. Your answer is therefore option B. Let's go to the next question then. I cannot cope up with this pressure. Also, in your first initial 2 or 3 times of your reading of the sentence, you may find no error. Cope up with is a very usual way in which we speak to someone when we cannot tolerate to bear anything any longer. However, there is an error, and that is a grammatical error, and that is the use of double prepositions after the word cope. So, either you cope up something or you cope with. Okay, so cope up, either you use cope up or you use cope with. So therefore, I cannot cope with this pressure is incorrect. There is no necessity to use up after cope. So again, the error is in part B of the sentence. Therefore, your answer is option B. The next question now. I came to this place by walk. Now, again, there is a very wrong way in which the phrase by walk is used here. It will not be by walk. Actually, the correct phrase will be by walking. So you can say, I went to that place, I went to my school, I went to the office, or I came to your house by walking. Okay, by walking is the correct phrase, not by walk. So the error is in part C of the sentence. So your answer is option C here. Let's go to the next question. What is the time in your watch? Now, again, it's a very, very colloquial way of saying this to any of our friend or a stranger when we want to know what is the time. We say, what's the time in your watch? Well, again, we speak the things in a very wrong way. So, always remember, time itself is an abstract concept. It's not a physical concept. You cannot touch time, right? It's not a physical thing. It's not a concrete thing. It's an abstract concept. Therefore, time cannot be contained in any object or in any watch. Therefore, time needs to be always shown or displayed by watch. So here, usage of in is incorrect. It should be, what is the time by your watch? By your watch will be the correct phrase. So the error was in part C of the sentence. So your answer is option C. Next question. The price of my dress is higher than that of yours. That means higher than, that here stands for the price of your dress. Okay, yours stands for your dress. So the price of my dress is higher than that of yours. So basically there is no error. This sentence is absolutely grammatically correct. So your option D will be your answer, because option D stands for no error. There is no error in the sentence. So answer is option D. Next question. My friend's daughter-in-laws have come. Now, there is a wrong usage of the compound noun daughter-in-laws here. So if you have already followed my content lecture on nouns, where I have given you one of the rules of compound nouns, whenever you want to change into the plural form of any compound noun into its plural form, then you need to add s, that is the plural suffix, at the very end of the principal noun or the chief noun in the compound noun. Here, the compound noun daughter-in-law, the chief noun in this compound noun is daughter. So therefore, the suffix s will be added to the daughter and it will be daughters-in-law. So I hope that those of you who have already gone through my concept lectures on rules of nouns, you already know this. So therefore, it should be my friend's daughters-in-law have come. So your answer is therefore option B, because part B of the sentence was having the grammatical error. Let's move on to the next question. I prefer seafood than Mediterranean food. Again, most of you who have already gone through my lectures, who have already gone through the practice exercises, and I have also described to you before that I prefer seafood than Mediterranean food. There is the wrong usage of the preposition here. It should not be than, it is to. You prefer something to something else, or you prefer to do something, like I prefer to watch TV, for example. Okay, so I prefer seafood to Mediterranean food. I prefer tea to coffee. This is a very common question that has been asked here. So therefore, the correct preposition to use here is to. So to is the appropriate preposition to be used after the word prefer. So therefore, your answer is option C here. The correct sentence will be, I prefer seafood to Mediterranean food, right? Let's move on to the next question. We were discussing about the issue. Again, in the first initial phrase of your reading, you will not find any kind of grammatical error because this is a very common way most of us use mistakenly in our daily routine. We say, we were discussing about this particular thing, or we are going to discuss about this thing. Well, grammatically, it's incorrect. The word discuss does not need any kind of preposition to follow it. There is no need to use any preposition after the word discuss. Discuss itself means when you are talking about a particular topic to someone or with someone. So here the correct sentence will be, we were discussing the issue. About is not needed here. Therefore here about has been wrongfully used, mistakenly used. Therefore your answer is option B, because part B of the sentence is having the grammatical error. Okay, these are very crucial, very small grammatical errors that you need to look forward to, right? Now we come to the next and the last question for NDA 1 and 2 2020 English spotting of errors topic. Here you go. Dispose of the garbage from the shelves. We will say again, this is a very correct sentence. There is no grammatical error. Well, there is no grammatical error when we are speaking this to someone. There is, however, a written grammatical error, and I will tell you that. What is that? That is basically the usage of the word of. Remember, OFF, of is an adverb. Here, dispose should not be followed by an adverb. It should be followed by a preposition. The preposition will be the same as OFF, of, but there is only one difference. It should always contain one F and not two Fs like OFF. So, it should be actually dispose of, O1F. Okay, so dispose of the garbage from the shelves. Right, this is the correct form of preposition of to be used after the word dispose. As you can see that part A of the sentence was having the error, so your answer here will be option A. So I hope that you have all got the answers to the questions that have been asked from the topic spotting of errors in NDA 1 and 2 2020 exam in your English section. So if you are preparing for the NDA 2021 and NDA 2022 examination, you can download our mobile app from the Google Play Store and you can subscribe to our NDA course where we have all covered the content lectures, quizzes, mock tests, practice exercises, study materials and much more in detail so that you can perform in a much better way in your upcoming ND examinations. So I will be coming back with some more questions that I'm going to solve for you from the NDA 1 and 2 2020 English section. Stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams for more such important lectures and sessions. Till then, all the best and Jai Hind. Hello and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha and I am back with the lecture on the NDA 1 and 2 2020 previous year's Q&A. So the questions that I'm going to discuss in this lecture will be basically from the topic of antonyms, and the questions have come in NDA 1 and 2 2020 exam, right, from the English section of the GAT paper. So the first thing first, let's read the directions, which is very important before you start solving the questions from any section in your English section in the NDA paper. So let's read the directions. So here you go. Each item in this section consists of a sentence with an underlined word followed by 4 words. Select the option that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word and mark your response on your answer sheet accordingly. So now you know, if you're still confused that what antonyms are and how you can solve the questions of antonyms, everything has been described in length in the directions. You need to find out the opposite of the word that will be underlined in the sentence, right? So this is very effective in the sense that even if you don't know the meaning of the word and you don't know what is the opposite of the word, you can just read the sentence and try to guess its meaning and then try to guess its opposite. So guesswork can be done with the words that have been given in the form of sentences as it is here. So let's start solving the questions from antonym section one by one. So here you go. The first question is, he nodded absently throughout the meeting, and the word absently has been underlined. So you need to find out the opposite of the word absently. When you do something absently, you are not into the work, in the sense that you are not being attentive or you are not concentrating on the work that you are doing. So obviously the opposite of absently means some work that you are concentrating on, some work where you are doing it attentively. So here let's find out the opposite of the word absently. But here you can also use one of the tricks that I have already explained to you in my lectures, and that is to use the positive negative word formula, right? So here absently is a negative word, and because you need to find out the opposite or antonym of the word absently, you need to find out a positive word, a word with a positive connotation. Capably, alertly, agitatedly, and dreamily. Now capably is a positive word, so is alertly, but not agitatedly. Agitatedly means something which has been done irritatingly. Okay, agitation means irritation. So you can cross this out. And dreamily means when you are in a kind of a dream. Again, you can cross this out. Dreamily means absently. Obviously, when you are dreaming about something, you're not concentrating on the work that is at your hand. You are doing that work absently. Capably means when you're doing something with a lot of capacity, with a lot of potential, very skillfully. Now, this has nothing to do with not doing the work or not being attentive into the work. So you can cross this out as well. And we are left with option B, which is alertly. So when you are alert, you are attentive. You are giving a lot of attention to the work that you are doing. So alertly can be the antonym of the word absently. So therefore, your answer is option B, that is alertly. Let's go to the next question. I fully believe that the cornerstone of good policy is an electorate that is educated on the national issues. Educated means when you know about something. When I say I am an educated woman, that means I know some of the things, right? I know some of the subjects. I'm educated, I'm knowledgeable about something. So when you are not educated, you are ignorant. You don't know anything, right? So here you go, the word that you have already got, option C, ignorant. So let's try to check out the other words before we take this option C as our answer. The first option is cerebral. Cerebral means intellectual. Nothing to do with educated or not being educated on any topic. So you can cross this option. Enlightened means to be informed about something. So this is more or less a synonym of educated. So you can cross this out. You need to find out the opposite or the antonym of educated. Erudite means something or someone who is learned, who has wisdom. Again, you can cross this out. This is more or less a synonym of educated as well. So here you are left with option C, which means ignorant, and ignorant is the antonym of educated. So your answer is option C. Moving on to the next question. For important medical decisions, even finding a doctor you trust is not enough. So obviously something is important. Opposite is something which is not important. Significant means important, so you can cross this out. This is a synonym of important. Basic means something which is not advanced, which is something which is very basic, something which is primary. Also, not so much to do with important, so you can cross this out. Probable means something which is possible. Again, no relation with the term, with the word important. Here you go, the word that we have is trivial. Trivial means something which is insignificant. In other words, something which is unimportant. Okay, so here you go, you have found out the antonym of important, and that is option B, trivial. So your answer is option B. Next question. Planets move in the orbit. So when something is in motion, something is moving, what is the opposite of move? The opposite of move is to stop. This is the antonym of move. Push is not to do anything with move. When you're pushing something, obviously that object is moving. So you can cross this out. Rotate, again, when something is rotating, something is going round, it is in motion. So you can cross this out as well. Again, flow. Flow is also in motion. So the rivers flow. Okay, so the rivers are in motion. They have not stopped. Here we have the word called stall. And to stall means to stop. So stall is the meaning of stop. Or stop is a synonym of stall. So therefore stall is the antonym or opposite of move. Therefore your answer is option C. Stall is the antonym of move. Next question. Temperature is a measure of internal energy of an object and is frequently expressed by physicists in units of Kelvin. When something is expressed, something is not hidden anymore. It is already out. Okay? So obviously the opposite of expressed is something that is hidden. Here, concealed means hidden. So therefore, concealed is the antonym of expressed. Not found, not told, not distributed, but concealed. So your answer is option D. Okay. Next question. People argue about why Venus is so much warmer than the Earth. Now, this is a very easy one. So obviously something that is not warmer is cold. So here you have the only word that is colder. The others are friendlier, wilder and heavier, which have no connection with being warmer. So here you have colder, which is an antonym of warmer. So your answer is option B, right? Next question. Scientists are concerned whether the oceans and land biosphere will take up as much carbon in the future as they presently do. When you're concerned about something, that means you are thoughtful. Okay, or you are maybe worried, or you are anxious. So in other words, when you're thoughtful about something, when you are thinking about that particular thing, right? So worried is again a synonym of concern, so you can cross this out. Curious, when something is or someone is curious, that means that person wants to know more about a particular thing. Okay, nothing to do with concern. When someone is puzzled, then someone doesn't know what to do. Again, not to do anything with concerned. We have this word indifferent, which means that person doesn't have any kind of interest. Someone who is uninterested about something. So indifferent is the opposite of concern. When you're concerned, you're thinking about that particular thing. When you're indifferent, you do not give a thought about that particular thing. So indifferent is the antonym or opposite of concerned. So your answer is option B. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The biggest debate among scientists today is about cloud feedback. So debate, when something is in debate, something is in argument, someone is arguing with someone about something. So something which is not debatable is the opposite of debate. So let's find that out. Content means debate, so you can cross this out. Moot means debatable, so we say that this issue is a moot point. So we can say moot in the sense means debatable itself. Moot point is a debatable point, so moot is debatable. You can cross this out as well. Wrangle means a long and complicated debate or argument. Again, it is a synonym of debate, so you can cross this out. You have copped this word left, which is agreement. So obviously, when you have agreed, there is no debate. So agreement is the antonym or opposite of debate. So your answer is option D. Next question. The Earth's climate sensitivity is conventionally defined as the equilibrium temperature increase caused by a doubling of carbon dioxide. Now, sensitivity, when you're sensitive about something, you are affected by emotions or by feelings. So when you are sensitive, you are easily affected by emotions or feelings. So the opposite of sensitivity is being insensitive, right? So willingness, responsiveness is one of the synonym of sensitivity. So you can cross these two options out. Closeness means intimacy. Again, it has something to do with being emotional or being bonded by emotions. So you can cross this option as well. You're left with this option A, which is imperviousness. Imperviousness means impenetrable or unable to be affected. So this obviously is the antonym or opposite of sensitivity. Sensitivity means when you are affected by emotions, and imperviousness is when you are being unable to be affected. So imperviousness is the antonym of sensitivity. So your answer is option A, right? Let's go to the next and the final question from the antonyms topic in your NTA 2020 examination of the English part of the GAT paper. And here you are. The oceans carry a huge amount of heat from the tropics to the high latitudes. This is also a very, very easy question. You need to find out the antonym or opposite of huge. So when something is huge, something is big. The opposite of huge is small. So here you have got the word for small, that is tiny. So tiny is the antonym of huge. Not significant, which means important, not major, which means big, and not dormant. Dormant means when something is lazy or inactive. Okay, it has nothing to do with being huge or not. So you can cross these three options. You're left with option C, tiny, which is which means small, and it is the antonym or opposite of huge. So your answer is option C. So I hope that you have got all the answers for these questions from the antonyms topic of NDA 1 and 2 2020 English section. So I will be coming back with the other questions and their answers and solutions. For that, you need to stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams. And if you want to now prepare for your NDA 2021 and 2022 exams as well from the comfort of your home, you can do so by downloading our mobile app from the Google Play Store and subscribing to our NDA course to do better and to perform in a much better way and in a very easy and comfortable way in your upcoming NDA exams. Till then, work hard, practice hard, and stay motivated. Jai Hind. Hello and welcome to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha. So I am back with some previous year's Q&A and more specifically in NDA 1 and 2 2020 English exam. Right, so the questions have been taken from the English section of the GAT paper and from the topic, more particularly synonyms. Right, so let's first read the directions and then straightforward let's go on to solve the questions. So here you are, the directions. Each item in this section consists of a sentence with an underlined word or words followed by 4 words. Select the option that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word and mark your response on your answer sheet accordingly. So if you have been confused between the words antonyms and synonyms and you don't know what is what, here you are. The directions have already cleared it for you. You need to find out the meaning of the word underlined in the sentence. In other words, that is the synonym, or you need to find out the meaning of the words. So let's start with the first question that we have, and it is this: she got the divorce within no time. Right, so the word divorce has been underlined and 4 options have been given. You need to find out the meaning of the word divorce: detachment, breaking down, annulment, punishment. So there are confusions in students about which word to choose. So many of you will tell it is detachment because divorce means when you're getting detached from a married life. Breaking down, some others will tell it is breaking down. Well, it is neither. Because though divorce means a kind of detachment from a married life, though it means breaking up, not breaking down. You need to remember breaking down means when a machine breaks down or when something collapses or when you break down or you segregate something into parts. Right, it has nothing to do with marriage. Now, why I'm talking about marriage here? Because you need to read the sentence carefully. Remember, you not only need to find out the meaning of the word underlined in the sentence, but your meaning, your synonym of the word has to be relatable with the sentence that it is being used in. This is very important because most of the students get confusion because they try to find out only the meaning of the word. But you need to find out the meaning of the word which is relatable to the sentence in which it is used. So here, divorce, what is divorce? It is a legal way in which a couple separates. Okay, so the meaning or the synonym of divorce is annulment. Right, it is not detachment or breaking down because annulment means a legal procedure. Okay, it's a legal procedure within secular and religious legal systems for declaring a marriage null and void. So because divorce is also legal, remember it's not only a mere separation, it's a legal separation. Therefore, the meaning or the synonym, the appropriate synonym of divorce will be annulment, because annulment itself means a legal procedure within secular and religious legal systems for declaring a marriage null and void, and not detachment or breaking down or punishment. So therefore your answer is option C. Okay, let's go to the next question. He was known for his gentle disposition. Again, when you're talking about someone who is having a gentle disposition, that means that person is of a good natured or good hearted. That means a person who is very kind, who is very friendly, who is cordial. So a person who is not harmful or cunning or adjusting. Amiable. Amiable means friendly and cordial. So amiable is a synonym of gentle. So your answer is option B. So like this, you need to find out the synonyms of the words, and not only the words, but the synonyms of the words relatable to the sentences in which they are used. Let's go to the next question. The harder we kick, the better the ball bounces back. So the meaning or the synonym of bouncing back is recoiling. When something is recoiling, something is contracting or something is drawing itself back. It is not deflates, because deflates means we use deflate when there is air in a hollow object, for example a balloon or a ball, and when the air gets out of that balloon or the ball, it deflates. Okay, it doesn't bounce back, it deflates. Similarly, inflates mean when you are pouring air into this hollow object, which is a ball or a balloon. So bouncing back has nothing to do with deflation or inflation. Similarly, ascents means to climb up. It has nothing to do with bouncing back. Therefore, option A is your answer, because recoils means to draw back or to contract. Okay. Now we go to the next question. I plan and execute. When you execute something, you put the plan into action. So not desire or debate or discard. Discard means to leave or to get rid of. Okay, has nothing to do with the word execute. It is accomplish, to achieve, to acquire. Okay, so therefore accomplish is the synonym of execute. So your answer is option C. Remember, many of you will say that accomplish means when you're achieving something, and execution doesn't means accomplishment. But remember, I told you, you need to see if the word is matching with the word that is used in relation to the sentence in which it is used. So I plan and execute and I plan and accomplish means more or less the same. Instead of using I plan and desire, or I plan and debate and I plan and discard, it has nothing to do with it, right? So accomplish is a synonym of execute. It is nearest in meaning. Remember, in the directions it is said nearest in meaning. Okay, so here accomplish is nearest in meaning to the word execute. Now we go to the next question. He listened to me with equanimity. What is the meaning of equanimity? Equanimity means when you are calm and composed in difficult times. So when someone is calm and composed, then that person is obviously patient, right? So here you've got the answer in option C. Patiently, and not carelessly or excitedly or half-heartedly. This patiently. So equanimity means calmness, composure, patience. So your answer is option C here. The next question. The whole thing was a futile exercise. Futile means useless. In other words, pointless. Not costly, which means expensive, or indecisive, something which cannot be decided on, or successful. Useless or pointless. So pointless is your synonym of futile. So your answer is option B. The next question. He was too cunning for her. So sometimes there are again many confusions regarding the use of the word cunning. Okay, so we say cunning. Cunning means obviously that person is having a lot of intelligence, or shrewd intelligence, you might say. Okay, he is shrewd. He was too cunning or shrewd for her. So cunning is basically a word which has a negative connotation. We do not say someone is cunning in a very positive way. We use the word cunning in negative way. So cunning is a negative word, right? So capable, fit, and intelligent are all positive words. So obviously these cannot be the synonym of cunning, right? Because for a synonym of cunning, you need to find a negative word. So dodgy is only negative word here, and dodgy means something which is deceptive or doubtful or dubious. So therefore, dodgy is nearest in meaning to the word cunning. So your answer is option D. Let's go to the next question. This decision is crucial for me. If something is crucial, something is obviously important. And so you have got the word which also means same thing, which also means important, and that is option A, momentous. When something is momentous, something is important. Not natural or primitive. Primitive means old, and not inept. Inept means something which is unskillful, or someone who is unskillful or clumsy, right? So momentous is a synonym of crucial. So your answer is option A. The next question. The media went into a frenzy about the case. Now frenzy means temporary madness. Temporary madness, or something which is wild and cannot be controlled. So the media went wild, went crazy about the case. So here you have a synonym of crazy or wild, and that is berserk. Okay, not silent, creative, or wrong, but berserk. Berserk means mad, crazy, or insane. So therefore, your answer is option C. Okay, berserk is a synonym of frenzy. The next question. He has been yearning to go home. Now, this is the last question of the synonym section of the GAT English part of ND1 and 2 2020 exam. So, again, there is a lot of confusion regarding the usage of the word yearning. Yearning means when you strongly or intensely long or pine after something. You really want that. You intensely want something. Okay. So, declining is to reject. Demanding is when you are demanding, you want that, and it is in a very negative light that you demand. And so is begging. So begging, demanding, and declining are not synonyms of yearning. It is hankering, because hankering itself means intense longing or intense desire to do something. So therefore option D is your answer. Hankering is the synonym of yearning. So I hope that you have got all the answers for the synonyms questions for the NDA 1 and 2 2020 English section. If you want to now prepare for the synonyms and how to learn and remember them easily and effectively, you can obviously follow my lectures by downloading our mobile app from the Google Play Store and subscribing to our NDA course, where we have covered all the content, lectures, quizzes, study materials, mock tests, practice exercises, and much more for you to perform better in your upcoming NDA exams. So till then, stay motivated, be confident of yourself, and all the best. Jai Hind. Hello and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha and I am back with the lecture on the NDA 1 and 2 2020 GAT English prepositions questions. So as you know that in NDA 1 and 2 2020 English section of the GAT paper, a new section has been added, which is prepositions. Well, let me tell you, this is not a very new section. This is a kind of fill in the blanks. So in the previous year's papers of NDA, fill in the blanks were there, and the questions that have been asked in fill in the blanks were related to appropriate prepositions, tenses, subject verb agreement, and the right usage of vocabulary words. But in NDA 1 and 2 2020 exams, the section headed prepositions only dealt with appropriate prepositions, where the questions in the form of fill in the blanks pattern has been given, and you need to fill in the blank with the appropriate prepositions. So more or less the section headed prepositions is nothing but fill in the blanks, the sentence completion. So let's start, but before that it's mandatory to read the directions. So let's read the directions first and then we will proceed on to solve the questions. Each item in this section has a sentence with a missing preposition. Select the correct preposition from the given options and mark your response on your answer sheet accordingly. Now, to solve these kinds of questions, you need to have a very strong knowledge of the appropriate prepositions. So in my lecture on appropriate prepositions, I've already given you a long list of the prepositions that are used after some words, and there are also certain study materials that you can go through. So we will now go one by one through each of these particular questions and try to find out and solve the answer. So let's go on to the first question. So here you are. Simulations of the 20th century by climate models that exclude the observed increase greenhouse gases fail to simulate the increase in temperature over the second half of the 20th century. Now, many of you will have a doubt as the options have been given is of, in, by, and to. So many of you will go for the option A, which is of. We say increase of, okay? But let me tell you, of will not be the appropriate preposition to be used after increase here, because we use increase of when the preposition of is followed by a number or a percentage. Okay, we can say there has been an increase of 50% in the taxes. Okay, but when you say that there has been an increase in a particular thing, then you use the preposition in and not of. Okay, and if you read this sentence here, it has already been pointed out as, look into the last sentence, the last part of the sentence here, increase in temperature. Similarly, therefore, it should be increase in greenhouse gases and not increase of. So here option B will be your answer. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next question. In extremely poor societies, children can be put to work dash a young age and are therefore a source of income. So here, when something has to be done with the age, then you use either at or from. Okay, so the preposition from is not there in the options, but obviously you have the preposition at here. So this will be your appropriate preposition to use. Work at a young age. Okay, so young age or any kind of age is preceded by the preposition at or from. So therefore here your answer is option D. The next question. People who are averse dash hard work generally do not succeed in life. You feel averse to something. Averse means when you don't prefer to do something, you don't like to do something, you dislike doing something. There you use the word averse. So people who are averse to hard work generally do not succeed in life. So to is the appropriate preposition to be used after the word averse. So therefore option A is your answer. Okay. Next question. I have known her dash a long time. So we always say this in daily terms when we are talking about a particular person, or we are talking to our friends. We say, "Oh, I have known him for a long time," or "I have known her for a long time," or I have known about this place for a long time." So here the appropriate preposition to be used here is for. So many of you has this confusion whether it should be for or since. Well, it should not be since, because we use for a period of time. We use for a period of time, okay, where it is indefinite. So a long time doesn't have a definite time, okay. We use since when we are talking about a definite time in the past. So you can say, I have known her for a long time, but you have to say, I knew her since, or I have known her since 2009, for example. So 2009 here is a particular year, right? In the past. It's a particular year in the past. So 2009 is a definite year. So for these kinds of definite time in the past, you need to use since. But for a long period of time, or for a period of time, you need to use the preposition for. So therefore, option B is your answer. Okay, I've known her for a long time. Let's move on to the next question. I accepted the offer dash certain conditions. Obviously, so many of you already know that, and we already use this in our, again, daily conversations. I accepted the offer on certain conditions. Okay, so on is the appropriate preposition to use on certain conditions, where here conditions means certain terms and conditions. Okay, so here option A is your answer. So whenever you're speaking about in terms of terms and conditions, on should be used always. The next question. She is a woman dash humble origin. Now again, many of the students has this confusion of using of or from. Well, there is a rule and you need to know that. When you are talking about anyone's background, you can say she is from a humble background or origin. So here the verb is not followed by anything else. So when there is no word following is or following any other verb, the preposition from is used. But whenever a word follows the verb, then you have to use of. So here you can see after the verb is, she is, a woman is followed. It's a noun. A noun follows the verb is. So therefore, from will not be used. You have to use the word of. So she is a woman of humble origin, or he is a man of humble origin. but when there is no word following is or was or whatever, it has to be from. So you can say she is from a humble origin, or he is or he was from a humble origin. Okay, so this is a very important thumb rule that you can remember. So option B here is your answer therefore. Okay, let's move on to the next question. There is no cure dash the common cold. Again, there is a kind of question that what kind of preposition to be used after cure. There are prepositions, there are more than one prepositions to be more precise. Well, it is there is no cure for the common cold. Okay, you will say, okay, I have heard of the term called cure of. Obviously, there is a term called cure of, and using of the preposition of after cure is not wrong, but both for and of is used, but in different circumstances. You use for after cure when cure is used as a noun, but you use of after cure when cure is used as a verb. So here there is no cure for the common cold. Here cure is used as a noun. It is not used as a verb. So if you say he has been cured, he has been cured dash the common cold, here for will not be used because cured is used here as a verb. So for verb, cure should always be followed by the preposition of. So here you will use the preposition of. So the correct sentence would have been, he has been cured of the common cold. But because here cure is used as a noun, therefore it has to be followed by the preposition for. So the correct sentence will be, there is no cure for the common cold. So option A therefore is your answer. Okay, now we go to the next question. I ran dash John yesterday and it was a pleasant surprise. So here when it is talking about a pleasant surprise, then you ran or ran into someone, because running into someone means a chance encounter or a sudden meeting. When you're going, suppose, somewhere and you suddenly meet your childhood friend whom you have not seen for long years, or for years you haven't met him, and you suddenly meet him on the road, then that is a chance encounter and that is a pleasant surprise. So you can say, I ran into my childhood friend this evening. Okay, or in the morning. So in these kinds of chance encounters or sudden meetings, you use the phrase run into. So here it should be, I ran into John yesterday and it was a pleasant surprise. So into will be the appropriate preposition to use after ran, and here your answer is option D therefore. The next question. My grandmother enjoyed boating dash the lovely lake. It should be boating in the lovely lake, not on, because you do not do something on water. Whenever you are doing something, suppose you swim in the river. So you swim in the river or the ocean or the lake or something like that. Similarly, you boat in the lake. Okay, you do not boat on the lake, or you do not boat beside the lake. Beside means by the side of, obviously that would be land, and which is not possible. And then boating within the lake, this is also not acceptable. So it should be boating in the lovely lake. So therefore your answer is option A. Okay, let's go to the next question and the last question from the preposition section in the GAT paper of NDA 1 and 2 2020 exams, and it is, he visits the needy to relieve them dash their sufferings and poverty. So again there is a confusion among the students regarding what preposition to use here. So many of them say relieve them from their sufferings and poverty. Okay, but it is incorrect, because you get relief from something, but you are relieved of something. So there is a difference between relief and relieved. When I am feeling relief, I am feeling relief from something. Okay, but when you are relieved, that means something else or someone else has given you the relief. So he visits the needy to relieve them. That means he gives relief to them and they get relief from him, but he relieves them not from but of say their sufferings and poverty. Now remember, it shouldn't be OFF of, because again, as I've already told you, OFF of is an adverb. OFF of is not used as an appropriate preposition or as a preposition in a sentence. So it is incorrect to use OFF of. It should always be OF of, right? So again, relief is a noun and relief is a verb. So this you need to remember very carefully. So you get relief from something, but you are given relief or you are relieved of something. So of is the appropriate preposition to use after relief, relief with a V. Okay, this you have to remember. So I hope that you have already gone through the answers. You have got all the answers for the questions from the preposition section of the NDA 1 and 2 2020 English exam. All right, so you need to follow the lectures on appropriate prepositions. You also need to go to the study materials that I have provided. If you have not gone through them, then I would tell you to do that by downloading our mobile app from the Google Play Store and subscribing to the NDA course. Right, you will get all the important and detailed content, lectures, quizzes, study materials, practice exercises, mock tests, previous year's Q&A, and much more, which will help you to perform better in your upcoming NDA exams. Right, so till then, you need to work hard, you need to believe in yourself, and you need to stay motivated. Jai Hind. Hello and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha. So I brought for you in this lecture the questions from NDA 1 and 2 2020 exam. So these questions are from the English section of the GAT paper in NDA, and these are particularly from the part of ordering of words and sentences, ordering of words in a sentence, more particularly topic. So here we are going to solve the questions by ordering the jumbled up parts of a sentence into a particular complete sentence. So first of all, we need to read the directions and find out how to do that, and then we will go on to solve the questions by using certain tips and tricks which I have already discussed in my previous lectures. So let's first read the directions. Each of the following items in this section consists of a sentence or sentences, the parts of which have been jumbled. These parts have been labeled as P, Q, R, and S. Given below each sentence are 4 sequences, namely A, B, C, and D. You are required to rearrange the jumbled parts of the sentence and mark your response accordingly. Right? So let's see the first question and let's see how we can solve it quickly and easily. So here you are, the first question. Several years ago, course on climate change at Texas A&M University, Professor Andrew Dessler created an introductory for freshmen and sophomores. So you need to find out the connecting link, and once you have found out the link, you can easily solve it. So Professor Andrew Dessler created an introductory course. So you can relate the two words here of a term, introductory course. So R and Q combination needs to be found out. So let's see, here you are, RQ combination. No, not there in option B, not there in option C, not there in option D. So the only option where RQ is coming one after the other is in option A. So PRQS is your answer. So let's read it and put it once more in a complete sentence form, and let's see if it is correct or not. Several years ago, Professor Andrew Dessler created an introductory course on climate change at Texas A&M University for freshmen and sophomores. So yes, it is a complete sentence, and therefore your answer is option A. Let's go to the next one and use the same trick. Let's find out the answer. I realized that solving the climate change problem than solving will be much harder the ozone depletion problem. The connecting link is harder than. So than is one word which is always used in comparative degree. Okay, so harder is a comparative degree of adjective, right? So will be much harder than solving will always come one after the other. So Q will follow R. So let's find out the combination RQ in the options. So here you are in option A, RQ is there, but not in option B, not there in option C, not there in option D. So again, option A, we are having the only combination with RQ. So let's put this into the formula and let's read the complete sentence. I realized that solving the climate change problem will be much harder than solving the ozone depletion problem. Yes, it's a complete sentence. So let's write the answer, and this is option A. Let's go to the next one. Although the temperature of this layer of the, when directly comparing the satellite, measurements of temperature, atmosphere should generally track the surface temperature, we must be careful. So if you read the first one, although the temperature of this layer of the, and it should be followed by a noun. So this is not a noun, this is an adverb of time. This is a noun, but although the temperature of this layer of the measurements of temperature is not possible, because again temperature, two times the temperature has been talked of, one here and one here. So it should be atmosphere, because atmosphere is a noun. Although the temperature of this layer of the atmosphere should generally track. So P will be followed by S. So let's find out the P-S combination. It's not there in option A. It's there in option B. It's not there in option C, and it's not there in option D. So in option B, let's read it according to the combination given here. So PSQR, although the temperature of this layer of the atmosphere should generally track the surface temperature, we must be careful when directly comparing the satellite measurements of temperature. Yes, it's a complete sentence. So your answer is option B, right? Now we go to the next question. The element heats up, eventually reaching high temperatures, glowing like a dark orange that radiates the visible range. So glowing like a dark orange that radiates. If you consider this part, radiates is a verb. It should always be followed by an object. So how will you find out the object? You need to question the verb. So radiates what? The element heats up? No. Eventually? No. The visible range. So the visible range is an object. It can be an object. So R will be followed by S. So let's find out the RS combination. It's not there in option A. It's not there in option B. It's not there in option C. But RS combination is there in option D. So let's start by going through these combination here. The element heats up, glowing like a dark orange that radiates the visible range, eventually reaching high temperature. Yes, it's a complete sentence. So your answer is option D here, right? Now we go to the next one. Two people argue about why Venus is so much warmer to the sun so it absorbs more solar energy. The second argues that it's because Venus is a thick greenhouse gas rich atmosphere than the Earth. The first argues that it's because Venus is closer. So I'll give you two connecting links. Can you see here that warmer? This is a comparative degree of adjective. So it will always be followed by than, right? So here you are, than. So obviously P will be followed by S. Also, if you look here at the S part of the sentence, you will see closer. Closer is also a comparative degree of adjective, but closer will always be followed by the preposition to. So here closer to is here in Q. So obviously S will be followed by Q. So you have to find out the combination PSQ. So it's there in option A. In option B, there is no such combination. In option C, there is no combination. In option D, there is no combination. So the only PSQ combination is there in option A. So let's find it out again. Two people argue about why Venus is so much warmer than the Earth. The first argues that it's because Venus is closer to the sun so it absorbs more solar energy. The second argues that it's because Venus is a thick greenhouse gas rich atmosphere. It's a complete sentence. So your answer is option A, right? Next one. Are now used by more than 1,000 firms. Which are used and are growing in popularity. No, this cannot be the beginning of a sentence. This is a continuation. In the United States and Europe, this can be one of the probable beginning. Gain sharing plans. So gain sharing plans is a noun, right? So it can be the gain sharing plans which are now used by more than 1,000 firms, right? So gain sharing plans will be followed by P. So SP combination you need to find out. SP combination is not there in option A. SP combination is not there in option B. It is not there in option C, but SP is there in option D. So SPRQ, let's find it out and let's read if it's a complete sentence or not. So here you are. Gain sharing plans are now used by more than 1,000 firms in the United States and Europe and are growing in popularity. Yes, it's a complete sentence. So your answer is option D. Now we will go to the next question. Adversity without succumbing to the clouds of doubt and jealousy between friends, which is subjected to both prosperity and the essay of friendship by Francis Bacon celebrated the intimacy. So this can be one of the beginning. The Essay of Friendship by Francis Bacon celebrated the intimacy between friends which is subjected to both prosperity and adversity. Okay, so SRPQ is the combination. So here you are, option C is your answer. Okay, this was easy. We will go to the next question. Friends without which the world is make friends and a person wills to want true. It is miserable solitude that compels a person to nothing other than a place of wilderness. Okay, so a person wills to want true what? Okay, true is an adjective here. It should be followed by a noun. So true what? True friends. It cannot be followed by true it or true nothing. It should be followed by true noun. So true friends. So obviously Q has to be followed by P. You need to find out the combination with QP. It is not there in option A. It is not there in option B. It is there in option C, but it is not there in option D. So RQPS combination, let's apply and see. It is miserable solitude that compels a person to make friends, and a person wills to want true friends, without which the world is nothing other than a place of wilderness. Yes, it's a complete sentence. So your answer is option C. This is your answer. The next one. Takes the longest. What takes the longest? That never started? No. The job to finish. Not to finish, but the job. So the job takes the longest. So R will be followed by P. So you need to find out the RP combination. It is not there in option A. It is not there in option B. It is there in option C, but it is not there again in option D. So SQRP combination has the combination RP here. So let's apply and see. SQRP, to finish, that never started, the job takes the longest. Okay, now this is sounding quite odd, right? So obviously this is not sounding like a complete sentence. That's why I told you that whether you are sure when you are finding out the combination, it is important that you apply the combination, the entire combination, and try to trust your ears while you're reading the sentence according to the combination. It is not sounding correct. So what can be the correct? It can be that the job that never started takes the longest to finish. So P will be followed by S. So you need to find out the PS combination now. See, PS combination is not there in A, but PS combination is there in P. It is not there in C also. It is not there in D also. So you need to find out and apply option B. Okay, so RQPS, let's try it out again. The job that never started takes the longest to finish. Now this is sounding like a complete sentence. So obviously not option C, but option B will be your answer. So it's very important that when you are finding out the connecting link, you are also applying the combination where you have found out the connecting link, and try to read the entire sentence to see for yourself if that sentence is complete or not. If it is not complete, then that is not your answer. Okay, now we move on to the last question from ordering of words in a sentence section of NDA 1 and 2 2020 examination from the English section of GAT paper, and here you are. To what you can create, control shift your energy instead of worrying about what you cannot. So instead of worrying about what you cannot, you worry about something which is a failure, right? So instead of worrying about what you cannot, R and S needs to be together. So S will follow R. So let's try to find out the RS combination. It's there in A. It's also there in B. But RS combination is not there in C, but is there in D. Now there is a problem because three of the options are having the same combination. So you need to find out some other link as well. So let's read. Control shift your energy to what you can create. You shift something to somewhere, right? Shift is a verb which is always followed by the preposition to. So control shift your energy to what you can create. So Q now will be followed by P. So you need to find out QP and an RS combination, right? So let's find out in option A. See, Q and P are not one after the other. So you need to cross it out. Go to option B. Q and P again is not one after the other. So you need to cross this out as well. But if you come to option D, you will find RS together and QP together. Now this is the desired combination. Now let's apply the combination and read the sentence and see if it is complete or not. RSQP. Instead of worrying about what you cannot, control, shift your energy to what you can create. Actually, the whole sentence will read something like this. Instead of worrying about what you cannot control, comma, shift your energy to what you can create. So you should not worry about something which you cannot control, but you should worry about something which you can create. So this is a very complete sentence, and here it is. Your answer is option D. Right? So to know more about certain tricks and certain shortcuts which you need to apply while solving questions from the ordering of words in a sentence topic, you need to follow my lectures, and for that you need to subscribe to our NDA course by downloading our mobile app from the Google Play Store. Till then, work hard, practice hard, dream big, and stay motivated. Jai Hind.